Hello, all to the beautiful people of this country, as well as all the cricket followers on our page. Today, we have a guest who has scored leaps and leaps of runs, not only in domestic cricket, as well as for Indian cricket. He was known as the master of Mumbai cricket, and when he used to play the back foot shot, you couldn't take your eyes off. Yes, I'm talking about one star of Indian cricket, Wasim Jaffer. Welcome to the show, Wasim Bhai.
Thank you, and it's very nice to be here.
The pleasure is all mine. And the reason we had you on this show because we vividly remember your debut series was against England, and India's uh, tour of England starts with the World Test Championship. So we did not think about anybody else but Wasim.
That's very nice of you and kind of you.
All right. Now, before we step on to the World Test Championship, the IPL is on hold till September, and I believe you all will be here. You're there as the batting coach for Punjab Kings. So, looking forward to it.
Very much so, very much so. I mean, very happy that cricket is coming back since IPL. Uh, the normal public also been deprived of watching some quality cricket. So it's good that cricket is coming back with this World Test Championship, plus the India England series. So I think
GG. Yeah. You can hear me? Internet का थोड़ा issue था.
I can, yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. So we'll start with the World Test Championship. It's the biggest platform. They say that Test cricket, as this is the purest form, and India in the finals against the old nemesis New Zealand. Now, my first question to you: you've seen India's squad, which has been announced. What do you think about the squad?
I think it was expected. More or less, I feel the 12. I personally feel was pretty much the same, which I feel that India might more likely than not would go with 5 bowlers plus the 6 batsmen, but they've got the liberty of the 2 all-rounders. The 2 spinners can bat. They've got test hundreds, and that makes the side very strong, especially when both of your spinners can bat. They've got test hundreds, and you've got batting till the 8. And the kind of form that Rishabh Pant is in, I think the team selects himself. To be honest, there is only one or maybe at most two, selection issues that can happen. But I feel that mostly the 11 or 12 pick themselves, in my opinion.
All right. Since we are talking about the 12 which you think pick themselves, could you just run through me and for all our fans, the players you expect them to be on the park?
I mean, in my opinion, or if you ask me, I would like Rohit Sharma. Obviously, Rohit Sharma and Shubman Gill. They should open, in my opinion. Number 3, Pujara, Virat Kohli, Ajinkya Rahane. Number 6 should be Rishabh Pant, and then Ravindra Jadeja at 7, Ashwin at number 8, Bumrah number 9, Shami number 10. And the debate probably that's going on is between Siraj and Ishant Sharma. But I would personally want Ishant Sharma to play because somebody who's played 100 test matches, who's been in England before, he knows how to bowl in Dukes with the Dukes ball. He's played county cricket, and that experience counts for a lot. I feel somebody who's got 300 plus test wickets, and plus Ishant Sharma bowls so well to the left-handers, and New Zealand has got quite a few left-handers in the top order. I feel they should go with Ishant Sharma. Even in the practice game within the squad, he's picked up wickets. So I feel they should go ahead with Ishant Sharma as a third seamer.
That's a very fair point, like you mentioned about the choice. It's a headache for selectors whether it should be Siraj or Ishant. And you rightly mentioned a player who has played 100 test matches, has the experience of playing so many matches in England, has taken enough wickets, and has an edge over left-handers, whereas New Zealanders have quite a few. And Ishant Sharma should be the pick ahead of Siraj. Now, do you think India might see that no, we will play four seamers and drop probably one of the spinners, or you see them going with two spinners, even though because they're bad deep?
No, I don't think. You'll only go with four seamers if it's a really green pitch and it's going to stay like that for the most of the test matches, which I don't think will happen. I mean, in England, mostly the pitches will spin from later half of the third day to the fourth and fifth day. And both of your spinners, somebody like Ashwin who's got 400 plus wickets, Jadeja who's got more than 200 wickets, and they are so accurate. Uh, you don't want to, tempt yourself to, drop any of them. 3+2, I think, gives you the right balance. The spinners can hold one end and your seamers can rest. And knowing Ravi Shastri, knowing Virat Kohli a little bit, I feel they both are very aggressive. The way they approach to the games, they want to win, and most of the times we see they play with five bowlers. And like I said, you've got that liberty that two of your main spinners can bat. So there's not a problem that your tail becomes a big if you play five bowlers. So that's not an issue. So I feel 3+2 looks a very sensible option for me.
Fair point. Now, because New Zealand has been there in England and has already played two test matches, does that give them a slight edge ahead of India, who's just come there and just had some practice matches between themselves?
I think so. It will give them the edge because they have played the real game. They played Test cricket. No matter how much you practice or play within the squad, that intensity probably is never going to be there. When you play a Test match, that intensity is totally different. So that gives them a little bit of edge. But saying that, they've also tested their bench strength. So after the first Test match, which was a draw in Lords, they have benched Saudi, they have benched Jamieson, they benched the other guys. Williamson didn't play up for an injury. So they've also tested their squad a bit. So, but saying that, I feel that New Zealand have a little bit of edge, but, India will be very prepared. I mean, come the day one of the test, they are all seasoned campaigner. Everybody has played in England before. So I think it's going to be a cracking contest.
If you had to mark few New Zealand batsmen, whom would you be wary about in the batting? And then I'll come to the bowling.
I think I was really impressed with the way Devon Conway has played. I think he was really fantastic in the way he played it. First time he's been to England. I'm sure he might have played some league cricket or some other cricket, but the way he played in Lord's Test match and the Edgbaston in the second one, I was really impressed with his technique, with his temperament, and with his discipline. The way he's constructed his innings. So I was really impressed. So he's going to be definitely one of them that India need to dislodge early. Williamson, you can't look beyond Williamson and Ross Taylor. They've got heaps and heaps of experience, quality players. But I think there is not much, to be honest. I mean, other than these guys, obviously Tom Latham is another one. He's also a very solid player. But I think these three guys, Ross Taylor, Williamson, and Devon Conway, I feel those are the very important guys in the batting line.
And when we come to the bowling,
I think bowling, Trent Bolt, Tim Southee, and Jamieson. I think those are the three guys I feel are more likely to play. Neil Wagner might play because he's one of those guys who does the hard work for them. He's once I think he bowls first and second spell. He's mainly the guy who will come in and bowl short balls. He'll bowl bouncer and he'll have that field placing where he'll tempt you with quite a few short balls. So he does the dirty work for them most of the times, and he's been quite successful with that. So it is going to be a little interesting to see whether they go with three fast bowlers plus Wagner, or they go with Ejaz Patel as well as a main spinner. So it's going to be interesting to see, what kind of attack they employ. But I think Trent Bowl and Southee looks very sure to play, and they are a very seasoned campaigners, somebody who's played again a lot of times in England. They played against a lot of Indian players. Last time India played in New Zealand, they beat them 2-0. And they were the guys who did most of the damage. Jamieson was another guy who debuted in that series and did really well. So I feel those are the threats probably are for the Indian batting line.
Very rightly said, Wasim. Now, playing in England and playing in India is totally different conditions. You have played in England and you've been successful. What advice you would like to give youngsters like Shubman Gill or the players you want to be safeguarding themselves against the moving ball or the Duke's ball?
I think, like I said, the way Devon Conway has played, the kind of discipline that he showed and constructing an innings, leaving a lot of balls outside the off stump, especially in the early part of your innings, especially in the first session. I think that is going to be very, very vital because scoring runs is never going to be a problem to Shubman Gill or for Rohit Sharma or even Virat Kohli. They can always accelerate. But I think in England, for you to succeed or to play really well, you need to have that self-discipline at the start of your innings. When you start to build your innings, you need to leave a lot of balls, that fifth and sixth stump balls. You need to be very sure of your off stump, and you need to play, late. Uh, in England, the pitches are not going to scare you with the bounce, and there are not going to be a lot of bouncers ball because the pitch is not going to be like Australia or maybe South Africa. So the lot of the threat would be the lateral movement. So those are the things that you need to worry, and you need to have that self discipline of leaving a lot of balls outside off stump. And once you do that, once you play out that first hour or maybe 1 hour and a half, then I think you're pretty much sure that you are in. You got a hang of the conditions. So then you can obviously expand your the area of shots. And the other thing is, like you said, the Duke's ball. The Duke's ball never stops swinging. So you need to be, no matter how much runs you've got against your name, you still need to be very watchful. So unlike the Kookaburra ball where it only going to swing for first 25-30 overs, then there's no worry. But Duke's ball is totally different. It's got a very upright seam and it keeps swinging throughout the day. The conditions help the bowlers. It's going to be overcast unless it's really bright red hot day, then it's a different story. But in England, you got to expect that it's going to be overcast at some point. So those are the things actually that the batsman needs to be aware of, and that's why I feel that Devon Conway has given us a template of how you need to bat or how you need to construct an innings. So the Shubman Gills or Rohit Sharma, Rohit, even though he's played in England before, but he's played as a middle order. He's never opened the innings in England. Shubman Gill or even Mayank Agarwal never played a test match in England. So that is something, a template they need to follow at least at the start of the innings.
Fair point again. Wasim, you were part of the Indian squad which won when under the captainship of Rahul Dravid. And I remember the test match when I believe it was Leeds. I'm not sure about the venue. Maybe probably you can correct me. Where India bowled England out cheaply, and then you and Dinesh Karthik gave a good start. And then England were chasing and the game throughout until Michael Vaughan came and scored some runs in the second innings, and Zair Khan bowled them out in the second innings. Which venue was that?
That was Trent Bridge.
Trent Bridge.
Yeah.
All right. So, I remember that game very vividly because on the first day it was cloudy and we got the best of the conditions to bowl. Now imagine India wins the toss, and suppose if it's cloudy and you're going in with two spinners. Generally, when you have two spinners, you hope that your spinners come into the play into the fourth innings of the game, which is on the last day or probably on the second last day at the fag end of the day. So would you still bat first and take the challenge on of playing batting first, or would you make the opposition put the opposition in?
I think it all depends on the conditions. I mean, if you think that the ball is the conditions going to stay overcast for a longer period, then obviously you have to think about bowling first. But if you think that it's going to be a very passing phase and it's gonna clear out in the first hour or maybe after an hour, then you don't mind even batting first, because generally there is going to be some movement and some help for the fast bowlers no matter where you play, because the ball is hard, the wicket is fresh, the bowlers are fresh. So eventually, at most times, you'll always want to bat first, unless the conditions are really in favor of the bowlers. Then you'll have to think twice. So if the conditions you feel that it's going to stay overcast for most part of the day, then you don't mind to bowl first, because you've got three genuine fast bowlers. I mean, that is the reason why I say that playing five bowlers, having that liberty of having two all-rounders in the team, give you that liberty, even if you are made to bat first, you've got batting till number 8. Even if you have to take the option of bowling first, you've got three genuine fast bowlers who bowl 140 plus and can exploit the conditions. So I feel Indian team won't mind anything, to be honest.
Very well said, Wasim. Now, New Zealand somehow has been India's nemesis. Whether we talk about the 2019 World Cup semi-final, we all thought that we would have a walk in the park, and they stunned us at Manchester. Or in the past, also they've had the better of us, as you had mentioned in the start of the show, that they even beat us when we went there, and the conditions won't be that different as what is in New Zealand. So my point here is, I'm sure Virat Kohli and Ravi Shastri must have done their homework against New Zealand. But going into this test match, if you had to pick one winner, upright winner, would it be India or New Zealand?
I think India looks, I mean, out of the two teams, India do look, a very formidable team, batting wise and bowling wise, and the kind of cricket they played in Australia, I think the series win against Australia must have, boosted their confidence, next to nothing. Having to go through so many crises in that series, and still coming out trumps, and winning in Melbourne, winning in Brisbane, drawing that test match in Sydney. Everything was against us, but still, I mean, they got to make to play the net bowlers in a test match, because there were nobody left to play. All the players were injured. So that shows the quality of the team that we possess. Washington Sundar came in and performed. Shardul Thakur came in and performed. Natarajan made debut in all three formats in that tour. So that shows the quality of the Indian side, and I feel they are more balanced team compared to New Zealand. But like I said before, when somebody is qualified for a World Test Championship final, they worked really, really hard for 2.5 years. So you can't take any teams lightly, leave alone New Zealand. And New Zealand, like you said very rightly, they've always been our nemesis. And they've beaten us. I mean, the last time India beaten them in ICC event was way back in 2003. So nothing comes easy as far as beating New Zealand to the Indian team. So they'll be, won't be taking them lightly at all. It's mark my words that they will be up against.
Like, I read an article today in one of the sports page that they are the good boys whose actions does all the talking. They don't make more noise. They just do with the actions play.
Definitely, I think they are. I think they'll always be the second best team of everyone. Everyone likes them because you don't see them sledge too much, and they are. I mean, even I have come across them, a lot of them in IPL when I've played in RCB, or even while my time with Punjab Kings. They've always been, one of the nicest guys you can find, the New Zealanders. So they're very easy to work along and to interact with. So that is why probably everyone likes them. And, there's no fuss. You don't see any fuss with any of them. I mean, Williamson he's been a great ambassador of the game, not just for New Zealand, but I feel for everyone. So even Ross Taylor, when I played with him in RCB, he was one of the best guys that you can interact with. So they are, I'm sure, they are always the second best team of everyone.
Very well said again, Wasim. New Zealand are the second best team of everyone. And we as Indians, we hope we are the team which will beat New Zealand in this big final, because everybody says that this is like a World Cup. And for the first time, this is happening. We are all excited. So are you, Wasim. And so all 1.3 billion Indian fans will be cheering Team India. And we hope that we can this time put it across New Zealand and have a trophy in our cabinet.
Definitely. I feel this is the biggest, like you said, this is the centerpiece of Test cricket that is going to happen in a couple of days. And anybody winning it is going to be a number one Test side without a doubt. But in Test cricket, the shorter the game, there are more chances of you upsetting anyone. But the longer the game, the quality of the side, comes to the fore. So anybody, I mean, to play a really good cricket for over a period of 5 days are going to decide. So whoever comes up after that, I feel that they deserve to be number one side in the world.
Well, we've had analysis, rather the pre-match analysis from the great Wasim Jaffer. I've seen him very fondly playing for India, playing for Mumbai, for whichever Ranji team he's played. He scored heaps of runs. Records were meant to be broken, but I'm not sure who is going to break Wasim Jaffer's record. We'll have to wait and watch. Till then, we hope you've liked this show. And if you like, please make sure to share and say some good things if you feel that what Wasim has said has been spot on. Thank you, Wasim Bhai, for all your insight, and we'll look forward to catch you post the match.
Thank you.